Can you just start off by describing the film for us?
So Strangerland is about a couple, Nicole Kidman and Joseph Fiennes, who move to the desert, to a very remote outback town in Australia. And pretty soon after they get there, their two teenage children, Lily and Tom, go missing before a massive dust storm. And the local cop, Hugo Weaving, gets involved, starts investigating. The town rally together to search. And it becomes apparent that this family have moved away. They've run away from something. There are secrets that they're hiding from everyone. And it's really about those left behind and how we cope in times of great crisis. You know, what behaviours we are drawn to, what things we grasp for in order to deal with the uncertainty.
And how long have you been working on this film?
A long time, since the inception of the first kind of theme and then ideas until Sundance, where we premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, was 13 years.
That is a long time.
That is a long time. Not as long as Dallas Buyers Club, which was 20 years, the film with Matthew McConaughey that he won the Best Oscar for last year, but still a long time.
Is it too long?
No, because it was, you know, part-time for a lot of that and then full-time in the last couple of years. But it was definitely worth it. You know, I grew as a filmmaker. The script developed and got even richer as we went along. And, you know, it was the timing of getting the actors and everyone being available at the same time. And then it's kind of like the film gods come in and you've got that extra factor and suddenly you get it over the line.
Now, I'm very interested to know about the ending of the film.
That would spoil it for the listeners.
I don't mean to spoil it, and I don't intend to. But one of the things I found about the film was that it was very dramatically modulated and, I guess, muted in a way. I understand you were under some pressure from some investors to change the nature of the film. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So, you know, the film explores this kind of, you know, the plot really is exploring this couple and their teenagers go missing. But what it's really about is how we deal with the uncertainties of life and when life sideswipes us. So when we were researching and speaking to family members whose children had gone missing, the overwhelming thing that struck us was that they are left in this permanent state of limbo. There is no resolution for them. There is no conclusion. So we're really wanting to pay homage to them in terms of you know, how they deal with the uncertainty. But also, really, it's about how a couple deals with this not knowing of their kids going missing and what happens to their marriage.
You know that one of the conventions of movies is the payoff.
Mm-hmm. So the payoff, you know, in Strangerland is very much about, will this couple survive? Will their relationship implode or explode? And how will they change as human beings? And that's what we really deliver in the film, is their kind of the emotional intimacy and how that develops and really, I suppose, shapes them as human beings and how they're going to go forward in their future.
How did you get Nicole Kidman and Joseph Fiennes involved in this film?
So at a very early stage in the script development, actually after the first draft, we approached Hugo Weaving to play the role of Ray, the detective. And I directed him in a short film, so I knew Hugo years ago. I'd made this short film with him in it. And then so later on, as we were developing the script, his American agent read the latest draft and gave it to Nicole, and she read it and she loved it, and I got a call saying Nicole wants to do the movie, you know. And so when you get that call as a director, Nicole Kidman wants to do your movie, that's pretty amazing. So I went and I met her in Nashville and had an amazing conversation about, you know, how we both saw the film, and we tried to see if we were on the same page, and it turns out we were. And then from there we approached Joseph Fiennes, and then he attached to the movie, and suddenly we had all of our three leads.
What difference does it make getting someone like Kidman on board a film like this? Does it effectively greenlight the film?
Well, it definitely accelerates the financing process, and it definitely gets people, you know, very interested and keen. And yet there's also, it's not a guarantee, because, you know, basically in the end of the day, you need to make sure that you have the best possible story. And so, you know, we were finessing and playing with the script, and we got it to a point where people could also stomach it, because it was very confronting and challenging. It's an amazing script written by Fiennes series, and then the additional writer was Michael Conirans. But then also I had to get to a point in my career where the funding bodies were going to, you know, be willing to invest that much money to have a first-time director take the helm of this movie. So, you know, I had to go and make another short film, like a half-hour drama, just before I made Strangerland to kind of show that I was ready.
Right.
And then we got the money.
What kind of life do you want the film to have?
A very long life, and most likely a very controversial life.
Controversial in what way?
Well, even just like there was a screening last night here in Melbourne, and you know, and I overheard some of the conversations in the foyer afterwards with people debating about what they think happened, or how, you know, how they felt about the different characters and the way that they were responding, and that was so exciting to me that people had left the movie and they were still talking about it. And for instance, I just spoke to a journalist earlier today from another show, and he said, you know, I watched it 5 days ago and I can't stop thinking about it because I feel unnerved by it. That to me is fantastic, to get people thinking and questioning themselves and seeing themselves in your characters. I mean, that's my dream as a director.
Okay. Let me put this to you. I do not mean to be controversial, but I think one of the long-standing criticisms of too many Australian films is the third act, the payoff. You've got your audience sitting in your movie, Kim, for 2 hours, and you've created this enormous mystery. Now, with mysteries, it is a convention to deliver some sort of payoff wherein the audience will leave the cinema thinking, wow, my God, did you see that coming? What's your take on that kind of approach to a film like this?
So, I mean, in terms of the payoff, I think the payoff is really intrinsically linked to our minds and our need to know and our need to be in control. So if you need a payoff in order for you to feel like you know what's happening and that you can go away and sleep tonight and feel okay because it's all sorted out in your mind, then that's, I think, something for you to reflect on as an audience member. Because in life, as we all know, we don't always get it spelt out. You know, somebody suddenly dies in a car crash. We didn't get to say goodbye. Or somebody leaves a relationship and they never come back and they won't talk to you again, and you never get to find out why they left you. I mean, life sideswipes us at different times, and I think part of what we were looking at is our need to know and our need to have all the answers. So what happens as an audience member when you're left with, I actually need to decide based on my experiences in life and my projections and my perceptions, what I think happened, you know, in terms of the plot. But then what we do give you very much is the kind of emotional payoff of what happens to these characters. And that for us was the most important thing, to look at how we behave as humans, and can we forgive ourselves, can we forgive each other, and can we kind of reduce shame in some kind of way.
And what is the future for you after this? Are you basically kicking back and just resting after all that time developing the film?
There's been no kicking back, Jim, and I wish there had have been. But I went straight from Sundance to living in LA, and my whole kind of world blew open because of, you know, the film premiering there in competition. Suddenly, you know, lots and lots of scripts coming in, lots of reading, lots of meetings that I never would have got before. I'm now attached to 2 projects to direct, one in the States, which is a fantastic indie drama called The Evil in Me, as in E-V-E-L, Evel Knievel, about a little 8-year-old girl who wants to be Evel Knievel back in 1974, based on a true story. And then I'm also attached to direct a psychological thriller called Hush Money in the UK for Michael Winterbottom's company Revolution. So that, plus I'm just developing a TV series called Random with a writer from New York, Dylan Gary, who's amazing. So I've been incredibly busy. I would love to have a day off, actually.
That is some coin to toss.
Yes.
For you.
Yes.
Those 2 projects.
Yeah, amazing.
Any indication which way you're going to go? Because basically you're going to be
I'm
making
doing both projects.
Oh, you're doing both?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And the TV series as well. So it's just a scheduling issue, really.
Okay. Going to talk to us when they come out?
Absolutely. I'd love to come back on the show.
Kim, thank you very, very much. The best of success with the film.
Thank you, Jim.